and you'll likely find someone that you can meet up with and have a conversation. And in our experience, and we're like this too, but in our experience when we were getting started, the people who are already traveling the world and doing world schooling, they're more than eager to talk about their experiences and share what they've done. And it's not an exclusive group by any means.
This is Worldschooling Q&A. I'm Astrid, creator of The Wandering Daughter. As a traveling family, we've spent 4 years traveling full-time to over 18 countries and 6 continents. Wherever we go, we try to learn as much as we can about the countries and cultures we visit. While we didn't coin the term, we like to call this world schooling, using the world as our classroom. Each week, my husband Clint and I will answer one question about world schooling and share our experiences of traveling the world with our kids. Ready to get started? Great! Let's dive in. So today's question is, how do I get started with world schooling? So one thing I would suggest is to go to my website and read the article, How to Become a World Schooling Family. I cover like 11 tips that you can use to like get started on world schooling. But beyond that, I think what would be some suggestions that you would add?
Sure. I think the one thing we always tell families that ask us this, and this is probably one of the number one questions that gets asked almost all the time from any of the quote unquote veterans of world schooling, is how to get started with world schooling. And the one thing we always say is start small. And when I say start small, it can be as small as booking a hotel or booking a preferably like a house sit or an Airbnb, something where you're like in more of a house situation and not necessarily a hotel. I think you get in a hotel and it's still kind of like vacation mode.
Yeah.
But like if you can get into a house, say Airbnb or house sitting or home exchange or something like that, it can be as simple as a weekend in the same city, even if you want, preferably trying to go outside the city a little bit for a few hours. So you're kind of out of the context that you're normally in. And really, it's just like pretending, it's like playing house, pretending you're living there, whether that's going grocery shopping, going to the parks, going seeing a movie, like not doing your traditional vacation types of things, exploring something, if you are staying in the city that you already in, we've done this before. We stay in a neighborhood we've never like spent time in.
Yeah.
And we'll go stay the weekend in that neighborhood and see what it's like to wake up and go to a cafe for the morning and kind of walk around and explore the area. So starting small and then working your way up from there. Would you add anything to that?
I would say I really like that idea, or I like that suggestion, because I think so many times, and I've seen this, I've heard families talk about this, like, oh, I'd love to go world schooling, but the idea of like taking a big trip, taking a year off or something is just so daunting. I'm like, well, you don't have to do that. You could just do like a small weekend trip, like Clint said, like just take baby steps and then work your way towards that big trip, if that's something that is for you. I think that said, and I would say also it helps to be familiarize yourself with the world schooling community. So joining like a Facebook group or multiple Facebook groups would be very helpful. And there's a lot. There's like, oh gosh, we are world schoolers, World Schooling Central, Project World School. Those are some of the big ones. But there's also just like Facebook groups, smaller Facebook groups for different destinations that you're planning on going to.
Yeah, literally every destination you can think of, it's Bali or Turkey or France or Spain or wherever you're thinking of, Thailand, just type in world schooling and the destination you want to go to or the country you want to go to, and or the city you want to go to, region, whatever. And chances are you're going to find a world schooling group. And when we say small groups, The big world schooling groups are like almost 10,000 or more people in
Right.
those groups.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
small, when we say small groups, there's still several hundred to a couple thousand
Yeah.
in these groups. So there's plenty of people
Yeah.
to interact with. And I think that brings me to my next point. Oh, go ahead.
What I want to add too is that it's not just like destinations too. There's like different types of
Mm.
um, different styles of world schooling in Facebook groups out there. So like for world schoolers that are also into like games, I think there's like a specific Facebook group for that, or world schoolers who have teen kids.
Hmm.
There's a Facebook group of that, so that you can really like align yourself with folks that are similar to you and like understand their experience or learn about their experience. I have a Facebook group too for world schoolers who are more interested in traveling more ethically and sustainably.
Hmm.
So, yeah, you are welcome to join that Facebook group to connect with other families that align with that
Yeah.
philosophy.
The thing I was gonna say off of joining a group or anything like that is just talk to someone. I mean,
Yep.
it, there are a ton of world scholars out there already. A ton of digital nomads. Ton of
Yeah.
digital nomads who have grown up and had families, so now they're digital nomad families. There are a ton of people doing this. Digital nomadism has existed for I don't know 20 years now plus.
Yeah.
It's There's a ton of people doing this. Um, which is strange because you don't really hear too much about it, but there are a lot of people out there doing that. So literally, just you can do a search for world schooling or digital nomad families or digital nomads in general,
Yeah.
and you can find people and then have an online conversation with them. Or if they're in the same city, I can
Yeah.
almost guarantee if you just type in the city that you live in, or the region that you live in, and world schooling or digital nomad, you'll find like post something in a Facebook group and say, "Hey, I'm in Seattle, for example. Is there anyone that lives here
Right.
that wants to meet up?" And you'll likely find someone that you can meet up with and have a conversation.
Hmm.
And in our experience, and we're like this too, but in our experience, when we were getting started, the people who were already traveling the world and doing world schooling, uh, they're more than eager to talk about
Yeah.
their experiences and share what they've done.
Yeah.
And it's not an exclusive group by any means.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no gatekeeping here.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And yeah, and it's just if you are kind of a little bit more introverted or you're not sure of how to get, how to contact people, you can also start with just like reading books. There's several books out there about world schooling, which is great. Like that have been published in the last few years. I know when we started, there wasn't very many, but now like lots of people have done it so that it's becoming more of a popular topic in literature. Um, and say I would suggest reading this book by Zélie Polan. She's a friend of ours, but she does a great book about how to get started on world schooling. It's called "Hit the Road: A Badass Woman, no, a Badass Mom's Guide for Families Who Want to Travel." I love this title because she is a badass woman. And then also another book is Wonder Year. This is a little bit more like a how-to guide, whereas Zaley's book is a lot more focused on like families' stories. So I think both of those books are helpful for that. And then I actually also wrote an ebook similar to like a how-to guide as well. It's called "Hey Kids, Let's Go Travel," and it covers like the different things to consider if you're going to be taking a gap year or doing like a world schooling trip. So like reading a book is helpful, or watching videos. There's a lot of videos
Mhm.
out there of families that travel.
Now, if you're starting to get to the point where you're more serious,
Right.
or you want some more hands-on kind of coaching or guided, you, you're to that point where you're willing to commit financially as well. There are a couple directions you can go to that.
Yeah.
There's hubs, the Worldschooling hubs.
Yep.
And there's also coaching, and I'll let you talk about the coaching side. I'll just touch on
Sure.
the Worldschooling hubs. So Worldschooling hubs is really what it is the family who's already Worldschooling that has decided to organize some sort of gathering somewhere around the world. And this can be as simple as, hey, there's going to be a number of us that are going to meet up in um, Guatemala, for example.
Right.
And we're just going to be in the same region. Nothing's planned beyond that, other than a group of us are going to be here in March. It can be people already living in an area, like in La Herradura in southern Spain, in the Andalusia region,
Yeah.
where there's already just families that are foreigners that are living there, um, following kind of the Worldschooling world. And then there's families that will come in and visit and then interact with those families already living there. So that it can be on that level, and it
Yeah.
can be on the complete, like almost all inclusive resort type of feel where you pay for the privilege of having your lodging and your meals covered and activities covered, and you're in a certain area, but you're there with other families.
Yeah.
And that's kind of an all-inclusive package. So it's kind of a booming is a little bit in quotes, but it's a trending thing that's happening right now. And I think that's just because in the Worldschooling world, there's a desire for community.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's why I think these hubs are popping up a lot more.
And what I love about like the hubs or just the meetups and things is that then you get to connect with other families and you get to like share experiences and make friendships with people that are kind of similar minded as you are. And that's really nice to have. I think, World Schooling, if you're traveling full time, and it can sometimes be lonely. And I think, just finding families that share the same worldview as you or share the same thirst for experiencing the world as you. Maybe you guys have different, religious views and backgrounds and stuff like that, but there's still this like desire to experience the world. That's always refreshing to find, and whenever you travel. To kind of end with the idea of like a course. So, sometimes you might be the type of person that's like, I don't know how to do this on my own. Like I've read the books, I've like joined the group, I've done everything, and I'm still like not ready to take that next step. I need somebody to like hold my hand. We know a fantastic course offered by this woman named Liz Quain. It's called Trailblazing Families. And she does a 12-week course that guides families through the process of getting ready to launch for like a bigger Worldschooling trip. And this is more of like, I think she would call it like a lifestyle redesign, where you're basically like changing your whole life and jumping into that like life of being a digital nomad. So if that's something that you're interested in, I think we highly suggest looking into her course. And she has Facebook groups, and she meets with her cohorts, things like that. So it's very hands-on and really helpful.
One quick thing I would just add to that, another kind of the opposite of what Liz is doing, where it's all in, is just kind of starting small too, that you could start today. If you have another family that you've already kind of done some travel with, or you've
That's true.
experimented, one of our favorite memories is we booked a house in Mexico for a month with another family that we've hung out with. And that was incredible. All the things about Worldschooling came to be in that, as far as spending time together, being able to set boundaries with each family, learning together, experiencing new cultures. So that's if you already have kind of a family friend that you feel comfortable maybe doing a week or two together somewhere. That can be a great way of experiencing that community aspect too, and also experiencing a friendship on a different level.
Yeah. So, anything else you'd like to add?
I don't think so. We covered it.
All right. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Worldschooling Q&A with Astrid and Clint. Be sure to check out the show notes for any links we mentioned in the episode, and visit my website, thewanderingdaughter.com, to dive deeper into worldschooling and family travel.
If you like what you hear, please consider supporting The Wandering Daughter on Patreon. It really helps us out and keeps the show going. You'll also get exclusive perks like episode transcripts, additional resources, access to office hours with us, and more. You can find us on Spotify or the podcast app of your choice. If you're listening to this on Spotify, you can tap the bell icon to get notified when new episodes come out. And if you like this episode, please give us a 5-star review. It really helps new people find our show.
If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe and tap the bell icon to get notified of new episodes. You can follow me on Instagram @WanderDaughter or follow The Wandering Daughter on Facebook. Links to these are also in the show notes. If you have any worldschooling questions you'd like us to answer for future episodes, feel free to throw them in the comments or send us a message at thewanderingdaughter.com/podcast. Until next time, happy travels!
Bye!